We are already live. So just checking whether we already have the stream on the YouTube. Yeah, we have it. Okay. So hello everybody. Welcome to the weekly Bridge Working Group call. As always, we would like to present you some of our of the things that were happening at Near Bridge over the last week. Some of our focus points and so on. So give me just a second. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Yep. So again, if something is happening with the sharing of the screen, because sometimes it happens, you just say it to me, okay, Marcel?
Sure.
Okay, so so let's. What do we have for this call? As always, we would like to discuss the status and the current goal. We would like to discuss the weekly updates and check what was done from the previous week. To talk a little bit about the next week priorities and yeah, and maybe some other topics. Does anyone have something specific for the discussions? I heard that Marcelo, you potentially want to discuss the additional fee parameter on the Eth connector side.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have forgotten.
So let me put it here: fee on Eth connector. Okay. So I have one additional topic to for the discussion. So and I would like to start with it. So we have a new team member, as announced on the previous call. It is Pierre. He's joining. He have joined us starting the beginning of this week. Pierre, say hello to everybody. Say a couple of words about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Pierre Alain. I'm based in South Korea. I've been working in crypto for a couple years now, mainly doing Ethereum related projects. Among those, I did some interoperability work, which is relevant for what we're doing here. And the Rainbow Bridge is a really great solution. So very happy to join the team. And apparently initially I'll be doing the front end side of the work.
Yeah, super cool. Welcome to our team. As Pierre said, he's going to focus on the front end side, already doing some good progress. Sure, he's going to update us on this during this week. Yeah. Well, probably no major things to discuss. Let's see. So our status and current goal. So according to our roadmap, we are progressing through it. We are taking a look at what is different things that we need to accomplish before putting the bridge into the main net and fully accessible by all of the parties. So again, the current status. So we have 2 testnet deployments. One with Ropsten, both are on the Near testnets. One with Ropsten, another is with Rinkeby. Both of the testnet deployments are fully operational at the moment. You are able to access them using either a front end that is available in the front end repo in the GitHub, github.com/near/rainbow bridge frontend. Or you're able to get it from the command line step-by-step guide. You can find a link to it in the previous updates, in the previous weekly updates. So using these two tools, you are able to move your ERC20 tokens from Ethereum testnets to Near testnet and back. So that's is what we have. So the base bridge infrastructure plus ERC20 connectors, or like connector one, and also a front end and a CLI. Okay, this is what we have. This is our current status. The testnet deployments are behaving themselves correctly for more than 2 weeks. No problems there, except one minor problem with the deployment on the Ropsten network. That was fixed pretty fast. We were discussing it on the previous call, I believe. Yeah, so everything works good, looks nominal. So we are heading towards the mainnet release. And on the path to this mainnet release, we have now like 3 weeks or a little bit more than that left. And within this time, we are like improving the quality of the code, writing some additional tests, making sure that our deployment process is okay. So CI/CD is okay. And we are also making sure that we are able to migrate from to do the upgradability of the bridge. So it's upgrade the bridge. So literally, our main goal for this period of time is make sure that in case any problems are happening with the bridge, or for example, we just normally would like to add some additional features to the bridge contracts. And so we are making sure that we are able to upgrade the contracts, and everything will be good. And we can react fast on any vulnerabilities if these are found. That's the main goal. That's the main direction. The moment in time when we are planning to release the mainnet bridge is the middle of March. And this is still on track. This is still what we expect to do. One thing that is definitely going not as it was planned is the bug bounties. Bug bounties are going to be postponed because we figured out that it is better for us to focus right now on testing, on our internal testing and stuff like that. Bug bounties program is going to be launched. Is going to be launched on top of the mainnet deployment of the bridge. It is going to be done in some time. But this is the only change. It doesn't influence in the mainnet deployment. Okay, so now let's come to the weekly updates, and we are going to, as always, we're going to review the planned items from this week. So we'll start from myself. So I updated the CLI guide to account for the deployment of the token, of the new tokens. So the way how the bridge is working is that if an ERC20 token is bridged for the first time over the bridge, then on Near side we need to create a token contract. We need to deploy it, and this is like a costly operation. At the moment, it consumes like 30 Near for storage. Once the storage reduction PR is going to be released, and this is going to be there, the protocol is going to upgrade. Obviously, it's going to go down like tenfold, so it's going to take only 3 Near. But at the moment, it is 30. Obviously, it's good that we have only testnet deployments where you're testing, and the testnet tokens do not cost anything. But yeah, so and now the bridge scripts are CLI scripts are accounting for this. So again, this wraps up all of the required functionality from the CLI guide. So you can do with CLI scripts everything that you are able to do with the bridge under normal conditions, normal operations. So you can use it as just a reference for you how you can implement stuff there. I was also working on hiring. So as you know, we have one open position here. There are some prominent candidates in our pipeline. So still lots to do here, but yeah. I was doing a little bit of again project management with Marcelo. So management tasks. I believe we're almost in the end of like fixing all of the all of the issues in the bridge repo. And probably that's it. I was also preparing some. Oh yeah, so it was never mentioned on this call, but just after the previous call, what we were saying that we are going to publish an upgradability guide. So it was published. It is already on the governance forum. So I highly encourage everybody who would like to understand how the bridge is governed and how the bridge is going to be upgraded to go there and read through this this upgradability and governance post. This post has a goal to propose an option how this can be done. And what we are doing right now is we are gathering some feedback from the community. We have about a month, well, from the posting of it till the moment when the mainnet bridge is released, to get this feedback. And we would like to be fully in sync with our community, and we would like our community to understand the way how the upgrades are going to happen. This is really important. So if you're using the bridge, because we do not want these procedures to come to you as a surprise. So yeah, take a look there. So I'm going to put here a Gov forum post on upgradability and governance. Yeah, and I was doing an additional post for the EVM team, but it's not for this call. Was not doing any additional docs here. So yeah, probably something that we still need to do on the readmes. Okay, that's it from my side. Marcella, what about you?
So this week have been I've done interviews, reviewing a lot of PRs, some that were open recently, some that were not open recently. We had a lot of stale PRs. Some of them were closed, some of them were merged. But the core of my work this week was fixing, like, updating CI. A lot of tests were disabled. I'm enabling them one by one. Some of them, after being enabled, were broken. So spent some time debugging and fixing some of the tests. So we can rely on our CI for future contributions, either internally or externally. So yeah, not only on the Rainbow Bridge repository, but on all repositories that englobe our team, maybe except frontend. I haven't started in them, but probably that's something that I can do with Pierre, like setting up CI there. So it's easy for collaboration between multiple guys. Okay. That's it.
Okay, great. What about, so is the ending of the tasks of the CI is somewhere close?
I would say is 50%, but it depends. It really depends in how many future future tests are broken and how broken they are, because like, if they work fine, then it's just matter of few minutes. If they're broken, then it requires like debugging and see why. Some of our code was updated, and like when we merged all our separated repositories into a mono repo, and the tests were disabled, and we like went for 2 months with Adrenaline CI. We now the code have evolved. Some tests are broken because we have updated our code, not because something is really broken. But yet we need to rely on them in the future. So it's hard to estimate how much time it's missing in that regard. But right now, my main focus is in deliver upgradability test. But in order to do that, I need some of the tests to be really passing, so I can trust in the code we're deploying.
Sure. Okay. I believe Eugen is not with us, isn't it?
He's not.
Okay, so I'm going to post here update from his side separately. Kirill, what about you?
Yeah, so this week we have merged the Pro67 and Pro62 as planned. So these PRs were updated a couple of times.
You sound not very good. Are you able to do something with it? Like to change a bit?
Sound?
Yeah.
Wait a second, please. I will try.
We can go with Pierre and then go with Pierre.
Yeah, we can go with Pierre and you can test in the background. Hey, Pierre. How was your first week?
Very busy, very exciting. Plenty of things to learn. Yeah, so this week I was mainly doing the onboarding. So talking with Chad about what to do, and well, basically deep diving into the front end code and seeing what we can do there.
Okay, and I also saw that you created multiple issues and created also some pull requests there.
Yeah, so there are two small issues that we might need to discuss a little bit later, and one pull request which essentially gathered. There used to be like three small issues where tokens, the transfer amount of tokens was the token itself, and so what we want to do is if a user transfers like 2.3 tokens, what they're actually transferring is 2.3 times 10 to the powers of decimals, which in most cases is 18. So this is fixed now, and users could transfer those assets properly. I did multiple tests, and it seems like it's behaving as expected and displaying balances correctly in all places.
What is the number of the pull request? Do you remember?
Hang on. Let me check.
Well, we can skip it. You can put it in chat. So, Kirill, are you here already?
Yeah. Does it sound better?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, great. So this week, first, the most important thing is the is connector was pushed to the repository. I believe it's working at the moment. Also, unit tests for the is connector are in the progress and will be finished this week. They are mostly done. So these tests are made with a Hardhat, the new testing framework that we will perhaps use overall later. I believe so. It looks pretty much better than Truffle. Also, this week, the 467 462 PRs in the Rainbow Bridge was finally merged. Also, two small minor PRs, which are 26 and 27 in Rainbow Token Connector, were merged as well. The one was about the bug that Evgeny Kapun found on our call on Monday. So that's pretty it, I believe.
Okay, super cool. Looks like you're fully up to speed.
I hope so.
Yeah, okay, great. So lots of stuff happening. Yeah, super cool. Let's discuss stuff. So what we would like to do. Pierre, do you want to start with your topics, or should we go with the fee on EthConnector?
Sure. So I think for next week, what mainly Chad starting doing this week was the refactoring of the library outside of the front end. And so for that, we're making a Yarn 2 workspace and moving it to TypeScript. And so that seemed to be a bit more challenging than anticipated. So I think from next week, that will be my main focus to extract the library, I think.
And what about the topics to discuss? So you mentioned during your updates that there are some multiple points that you want to discuss.
You mean the issues?
Yeah.
So they were, yes. So the first issue we touched on GitHub was the behavior of token locks in the approval when the user initiates a transfer and approves the transfer on the Ethereum side. Then if the user initiates two transfers at the same time, the idea was whether we prevent those two transfer initiations or not. But I think
so yeah, we already discussed it. So give me just 1 second. Yeah. So so the problem is that if a user starts multiple transfers almost simultaneously, then the allowance transactions, because of the way how allowances are working, they're just replacing the allowance. They are not adding up on the ERC20 side. So if I'm starting two transfers and sending two allowance of 10 tokens transactions, I would be able to lock only to do the lock-in step of only one transfer, and the second one is going to be shown as like the transaction was refused.
So I think in GitHub, what we were thinking was maybe to prevent the second lock, but thinking more about it. I was considering whether to simply add an error message when the user makes the second lock. But again, that's probably something we can discuss more in depth afterwards.
So, well, from my point of view, it is the good thing to do. Well, again, just going to replicate what I was saying in that command, is that normal usage of multiple transfers when a person would like to do multiple transfers of the same token is at the moment when he would like, for example, first test the transfer, make sure that everything is working with a small amount, and then do the transfer itself. In case there is a very high amount of money that needs to be transferred, and the user would like to minimize the risk that something is going to be wrong with one particular transfer, which will turn out into the loss of the full sum, then he potentially can split it into multiple transactions and do it one by one. It's like you're just going and like you're not doing the cash out with the full amount, but rather like you split it in chunks. In both of these scenarios, a user normally would like to wait until the transfer is done and then start the next one. And I think that like it's something natural that we can do. If the transfer is in progress, if it has like a normal state, it is not rejected. It is not like failed. There is no, but if there is no that status, then like it's okay if we will not give an ability to a person to do the second transfer. In future, I believe we would need to add some additional option for a person to put like a much higher allowance for the smart contract. And the reason for this is that user would, if the user is transacting a lot in between chains, then he would probably like to save some money on the allowance transaction, which still takes about 45,000 of Ethereum gas, and like it costs some money. So yeah, it will be a good option to have it, but this is like an additional feature. This is an enhancement. So for now, I believe we can just say that, hey, you cannot do the second transfer if you have the first one in unfinished state. So that's my point of view on this. What are you guys thinking of it?
Not necessarily fully unfinished. It's only that first approval transaction. After that first lock, sorry. So after that first lock happened, then they can initiate as many as they want, as long as the lock happens right after the approval.
Yes, that's correct. But do we want? But like, do we want conceptually? Yeah, I'm not talking right now about the moment when we can allow this, but I'm talking about from the product perspective. So from my point of view, we can just say that transfers are not, the second transfer is not allowed until the first one is finished. That's it.
I don't think we should put some artificial restrictions in our code, because we don't need it. And the interface is pretty clear about two separate transactions, so I don't think it's really confusing. It's problematic what Pierre described, like they cannot coexist while they are not locked, but if they are locked, you don't see a problem to execute two transactions simultaneously.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's do it.
Pro users can also use like more specialized interface rather than the UI to transfer a lot of tokens simultaneously. So
absolutely, yeah, they can schedule transactions using Etherscan or something like that, for example. The reason why we are not also allowing like sending user a transaction with an adding amount of allowance is just because it is going to look really weird for users, because I believe 90% of users, they do not understand that allowances are working with a rewriting logic rather than adding logic. So yeah, because like the second transaction, when we are going to send that are going to set the allowance of the net value of the first and second transfer, for them it might be perceived as like a connector would like to to steal some additional money from them. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. So yeah. So the final decision, just prevent people from on the front end from using the allowance step before the lock-in step of the first transfer is done and is recorded to the blockchain. Potentially, we would like to wait multiple confirmations here, because in case we are doing in case the restructuring of the network is happening, there might be some problems there. So take a look at this too. Okay. Any other stuff? Okay, Marcella, do we need to open some code?
Well, it would be good if like open the ETH connector and if Kirill explain the fee, would be fine. So we have some context. Yeah, the line 13, the fee argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you?
Interesting. Why it is not why it is not blue?
GitHub issue. Like
yeah.
literally.
Something is wrong with GitHub. Hey, Microsoft, fix it. Okay, so the fee arguments. Okay. Yeah. So
can you explain?
So Kirill, can you explain
the motivation for fee here, and then we can discuss?
Yeah. So the fee argument, as we have discussed, I believe that was on the call with Alex Shevchenko and Evgeny Kapun. We thought that when a user deposits some money into the ETH custodian, which is like ETH locker, if we turn to the previous namings, this transaction will obviously cost some money for the relayer to create the appropriate transaction on the near side, and so the recipient address in the near EVM address will receive these tokens. The intention for this was made as we have like a desire to not force the users that would like to use the near EVM to have their own near accounts. So in this case, we want this user to pay the fee for the relayer in Ethereum. So that was the main intention for this.
Yeah. In other words, with this additional, one additional thing, but maybe somebody who is viewing this video or like watching the live stream is not fully understanding this. So the main use case for bridging Ether from Ethereum is to pay for the EVM execution. Yeah, and obviously we need to account for the people that do have MetaMask, but who don't have a Near wallet. So and as you know, on the Near side, we need to have a finalization transaction. So a user needs to be able to, some kind of pay to somebody for completing this transaction. And this is the place where we are specifying the fee that is going to be paid to this relayer service who is going to do this. You can see here that if fee is equal to 0, for example, then this means that the user gives an ability. Well, he's not going to pay anything to the relayer. And in this case, for example, if a user has Near account, he's able to relay by himself. So he's just specifying that the fee is 0. He's not going to lose anything if somebody else is going to relay this transaction. But I bet nobody is going to do this. And the user will self-relay this transaction. Okay, Marcelo, what's the problem with this?
So the problem is, like, you're trying to solve one problem, that you don't want users to have Near accounts, but then, like, we are specifying fee, like everyone needs to specify this fee either way. Like you say, it can be 0, but it feels weird that the place where we specify fee is at this point, because there is no, like, this is not really relevant for ETH connector. This is relevant for relaying meta transactions. So this is like for future applications that connect and that require sending meta transactions on the EVM. We will still have a mechanism in place to pay for fees. So right now we are having a fixed fee at this point. But then if the fee is too low, maybe no relayer want to relay this transaction. If the fee is too high, then like we are paying more than we should really be paying. Like if there is a market around this fee somehow, then we need to estimate at this point what is the proper fee. And it doesn't.
It's going to be in 7 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the right place to specify the fee, because this is like an application of the bridge. The fee is an application of the relayer. So they are like two separate problems, and we are like tangling together both problems. So yeah, I feel that this is not the best place to put the fee. However, I understand that if we don't put it here, it will be hard to integrate with MetaMask. But anyway, how are we going to integrate other applications with MetaMask running on the EVM? Like the same way they are integrated, we can integrate this.
So that's a fair thing. So I see your points. This fee, the introduction of this fee, is not only solving the problem. Yeah. So
it is only solving the problem of MetaMask integration.
It's solving not only the MetaMask integration thing. It also solves it also solves the problem of the atomicity of the transfer from how it is viewed from the user point. So the user is like specifying. Yeah. So literally that's it. Yeah. And if you're like, so again, for the people who are viewing this, so a user, he says that this is the fee, and then like the system somehow is going to finalize this transaction on the Near side. If he is not saying this here, then he would need to perform an additional action, exactly how it is done in the current ERC20 connector and on the front end, an additional action in 7 minutes when there is enough confirmations on the Ethereum-like client on Near. So he needs to create an additional transaction. It doesn't matter where this transaction is created, in MetaMask or in Near wallets. It's still an action. And actually, the integration of MetaMask, if we will come back to the first point, the integration of MetaMask inside of the EVM is going to be the following. So we are allowing MetaMask users to sign transactions that are going only inside of the EVM. So they are not going to go into Near contracts, and it's done through the specification of the gas price, and a user is going to pay the gas cost multiplied by the gas price, this amount of Ether, to relayer service, and the relayer service is going to pay Near attached to the wrapped transaction. to the protocol. So that's the way how it is solved for the EVM. But it works only for the EVM transactions, so the transactions that are going to the EVM runtime. If we would like to call with MetaMask, just ordinary near smart contracts, I believe that might be well. It's for sure it is not possible at the moment, and I believe it might incur some substantial protocol changes. So, and in order to finalize this transaction, a user need to call a near contract, which is the EVM contract. It should not call something that is inside of the EVM runtime, but the user should call a method of a specific method. Well, potentially, well, user can understand. Well, we can implement, since we are implementing the smart contract right now. We can put something in that logic to be able to sign the transaction with MetaMask and send it so it's not going to be a transaction. It's going to be just some kind of message that is going to be wrapped by the relayer, and then it is going to be transferred to EVM smart contract. And in the smart contract, we will be able to decode the message and understand what we need to do. Yeah, that we need to finalize the transfer. But yeah. So I would.
One of the problem with this architecture, I see two things, one in favor, one against. One of the problem is that if the fee is actually too low, then you send the transaction and you actually lock the tokens, but then you cannot unlock them on your side, and you actually don't have access to them on Ethereum side either. So you either need to pay, like you need to self-relay or do something to really unlock those tokens. So having very low fee might be problematic. On the other side, if you're sending transactions for the first time and you don't have ETH on your side on EVM.
Yeah. So this is fixed. So you need to send over this deposit. You need to send more than the fee that you are specifying.
Yeah, that's correct. So one of the points I forgot to say is that I really don't see the problem of 2 steps to be really that problematic, because in general in Ethereum today, how RC20s are used, from my understanding, is that you need to approve 2 transactions anyway, and this is not going to be a very common operation, the one we are doing here. Like, I don't expect people to be constantly moving funds from near to Ethereum. That should only happen a few times, and probably in the future people will just buy Ethereum directly on near side rather than moving through the bridge, very likely. So I don't see this very problematic as 2 steps, and actually as only 1 step might be more problematic if we need to wait for 7 minutes before the automated mechanism to trigger the 2nd step anyway. So if something happens in the middle, then it can be in a place you don't want to be. You don't maybe understand.
Sure.
So I think it's better to be explicitly as 2 steps.
Yeah. So let's wrap this discussion here. I still think that there is lots of value into having 1-step solution. The main reason is that so the thing that you were referring to, the 2 transactions on the ERC20, it is viewed as though it is like 2 transactions, it is viewed as a single step because it is done one after another. It's not done with a difference of 7 minutes. So the problem is not the amount of the transactions. It's 7 minutes, and literally the same can be done actually for the transfer back, which is going to be up to 15 hours, and this is going to be even more destructive. So let's discuss it. Let's discuss it in Discord. Yeah, let's discuss it in Discord. There is a problem here. Let's find a solution. Maybe a fee is going to be okay, but for the people that would like to have these 2 steps and do not account for the risk. Yeah, first of all, obviously they can manually finalize their transaction if they will create a Near account. So yeah, in case, and maybe we can also add some additional things like additional transactions that are topping up the fee. So they're like specifying some additional fee for this too, or something like that. So let's wrap this up. Let's make the final decision, not on this call. Okay. Sorry for that. What about the plans on the next week? So Pierre already said it. Now on my side, I would like to finalize the issues review. I would like to also work on. I would like to work with Marcelo on the upgrades, because this seems like the most important thing at the moment. Upgrades flow, so everything needs to be documented, and probably merge CLI guides to the Near repos somewhere. Not quite sure where we need to
do you mean by CLI guide? The step-by-step guide?
Yeah.
Okay.
As you suggested. Yeah, and also some additional hiring activities, probably a lot of them. That's my plan. Marcelo, what about you?
So main plan is try to make the upgradability test or upgradability workflow, but as part of the same effort, I'll be making all tests enabled, all current tests that exist today, make them pass, because most, like half of them are still not enabled. So yeah, I'll be focusing on those 2 things. One other thing is that I will make alerts for the bridge. Like right now we have monitoring, but we don't have alerts that advise on call engineers. So basically, it's you and me monitoring manually the graphs in Grafana, dashboards in Grafana. So yeah, make alerts, test that they work. That should not take too long.
If you would do it, I would be able to experience it tomorrow, because I have an on-call shift tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, super cool. Kirill, what about you?
So on my side, we have discussed with Marcelo that we need to have integration tests as soon as possible. But for sure, for that, we will need the ETH connector on the Near side implemented. I have just synced with Evgeny Ukhanov right before the call. He said me that this part is almost complete on his side, but he will probably finish it on the beginning of the next week, probably Tuesday. So on this, I will start doing an integration test as soon as ETH connector on Near side is finished. And I will probably help with this Evgeny if he needs some help. Then I have a plan to set the CI up for the ETH connector. Marcela already configured it. I will just configure it on my side. So both the unit tests and the integration tests will run in CI as well. And for other tasks, what are your suggestions according to our roadmap?
So yeah, I just wanted to say that it seems like you have some time before Evgeny is going to implement near-site connector. So I think that it would be good for you to consult with Marcelo. We have like tons of tests that we would like to build, just to cover some additional stuff. And I think that, especially taking into account your intention to do the integration test and setting up the CI, it will be pretty useful to start with the test for the existing connector and the bridge itself. Well, the core bridge, and maybe you can do one or two tasks for the writing some additional tests here. What do you think?
Sounds good for me. We will discuss that with Marcelo.
Yeah. You can discuss, Marcelo. Just pick the tests that you think that are most valuable for this moment to be added. Okay, so seems like that's it. Thanks everyone for joining us. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let me check very quickly. What are the questions? Oh my gosh, we have lots of people that are commenting some stuff. Okay, people would like to donate us some nears. Okay, I would encourage you to use the tip bot that was created by Zavodil. You can take a look at it. There is a post also. You can use this for tipping, but like that's not necessary. It's just our job. We are doing it. Okay, so it seems like besides that questions are nothing there. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to us. Stay tuned on the bridge updates. See you in a week. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.